down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Ladies and gentlemen around the world, this is your peoples. Steve Van Kellenberg, the Savvy Landlord, a little under the weather, but still grinding it out because, A, I love you. I got mad love for you. First of all, I just want to say my goal and my desire is to serve you and to inspire you. Not to be cliche when people say, I want to serve you, you know, missionaries or whatever. No, for real. The reason why I'm even able to get on this microphone and tell you what's going down is because someone went on a microphone before me. Maybe not on a microphone on a podcast, but on a investor seminar I went to, or personal development seminar, or Jim Rohn years before took the time to record a message to mentor other people. And the goal today is not to be a downer. 10 reasons why businesses fail is to be a motivator, so you wouldn't do these things, or they would trigger some things in your own heart and your own life that, hey, I need to get up on this deal and get the ball rolling. Now, what makes me qualified to say things are successful or failure? This is all for your own interpretation. But I'm qualified because I have failed way more than I have succeeded. And I think that's success. You need to read the book from John Maxwell, Failing Forward. And you got to fail to succeed. The reason why I have any success at all is because I'm willing to fail. So let me wrap off some businesses that I have done that have failed. And then I'll just mention 2 that have succeeded. And then I'm going to tell you 10 things that you need to do. Number 1 of my failure is I did a prom show. Yes, I was involved with little high schoolers for about 2 minutes of too long. And I was doing bridal shows, and I'm like, man, people spend so much money on prom. I've already connected with the vendors that do this. So, hey, let's do a prom show. Disaster. Thousands of dollars of renting facilities and marketing towards high school kids, and they don't give a rip, and they didn't show up. Prom fair, prom show, failed miserably. All right. Something else you learned about me. Here's another one that you want to learn about me. Brian Tracy Seminar. Now, I'm madly in love with personal development, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, and one of my weird goals was, man, I'm going to host a seminar. I'm going to do it. I'm going to call Zig Ziglar up, pay to $60,000, and rent out a stadium and sell tickets. Wow. Audacious or ludicrous? Well, what happened was I failed. I got a hold of the Brian Tracy, got a hold of all those people, and put together a seminar in Tulsa, and no one would buy tickets. And the thing that I realized, not everybody's down for success. Not everybody's down for personal development. People just want to just turn the TV on and be lazy. And so I realized real fast, I'm like, I can sell tickets to a bridal show. I can sell tickets to a concert. I can get people to a place. Why can't I not get people to a Brian Tracy seminar, my idol, my everything, and it failed miserably. I remember praying with my wife. I'm like, we're going to be rich. We're going to do this seminar. Trust me, I'm going to take this $10,000 and I'm going to invest it, and it's going to yield $100,000. We're going to be rich. Bam. It failed so bad that to this day, it still just irks me that I even tried. And I learned so much from that experience. Here's another current one. Well, here's one that's not real. I'll throw another one in. Kids Fair USA. That's right. I got together with the State Fair of Oklahoma, thought I was somebody, thought, again, pride. And I remember one of my mentors says, do not go out of your sandbox. And I was dominating in bridal shows. Bridal shows were going well. And I'm like, dude, I can do kids fair. In Chicago, they have this kids fair that's so huge, like several 100,000 people come to it. Imagine the economics and vendors. For 3 years, I suffered and sacrificed on producing a kids fair, and I yielded nothing. 3 years, I thought I was cool. 3 years, I was making a difference in society. 3 years, I got with Oklahoma City Public School and gave them thousands and thousands of free tickets to the kids to get them to this kids event. and I failed miserably. No one even wanted to buy it. I basically had to get, you could say I sold it for $0 to the local Metro Family magazine. And man, I learned so much. And then just in 2016, yes, ladies and gentlemen, not that long ago, within 6 months ago, entrepreneur, savvy guy failed again with racedayevent.com. That's right. I was madly in love, and I still am, in RC cars. I like them. I was suppressed as a child, couldn't afford them, thought it was weird that people could play with. It's a long story. Anyway, so I spent some time, got to reconnect with my strange brother, and we were RC carred out. I was going to build the track. I was in the process of buying a warehouse, and I'm just so thankful that I have some true friends around me, and they're like, what are you doing? Where is this going? My poor wife on the side. I can't imagine that thousands of dollars down the drain. And I know that would be a successful business, but what am I trying to do? And so those are some of the downer ones. So let me tell you about some positive ones. Another great successful business that I had was a DJ business. Started that in 1992. And I just sold that in 2016 for a pretty penny that has provided tremendous for my family. And that business is running successful without me. I'm just stoked for that business owner. And then the bridal show I sold 4 years ago, actually 5 years ago, is dominating still to this day, expanding, and is doubled in value. So where is this all going? What an intro. 6 minutes. Dang. Well, first of all, let's just get clear. You are a CEO of whatever you want to be. You're a CEO of your body. You're a chief executive officer. You are the kahuna, big dog, jefe, boss, mafia boss, whatever you want to call yourself. You're number one in your business, period. You are responsible. It's all hinges on you. No other excuses. So let's just hit these fast and furious. My 10 businesses, failure, pressure points, or however the top reasons. Let's get into them. Number one, emotional pricing. Let me tell you, as soon as I sold my DJ company, it exploded because it's actually happened before that. I hired a general manager, and I was always, when I answered the phone, hi, this is Stephen Eminem Productions. How can I help you? Well, I'm getting married on July 15th, and I need a DJ, and I would just so desperate that I would cut my own prices of my services. It didn't matter that other people around Oklahoma City were charging thousands of dollars a DJ, but I had a short thinking in my mind that I needed to eat this month, and I did, and I needed to pay rent this month, and I do. And I would lower the price so I'd get the business. Emotional pricing is the failure of your business, number one. Number two, you got to let yourself out. As soon as I let a general manager come in, he came in, raised the prices, and our business went up 20% because I wasn't desperate. You've got to get out of the desperate mode. Have a standard of pricing, know your market, be proud of what you're doing. And the same thing with housing. This just happened to me just the other day. I wasn't paying attention. The house exploded on me. Tenants jacked it all up. I just don't have the time, so I'm selling it. I overpriced it. And next thing you know, couldn't sell it. As soon as I lowered it 10,000, sold it in 5 minutes. Emotional pricing will kill you. I know wholesalers, please listen to me. Don't be emotional about your pricing. I went and saw a house the other day. This investor guy says, man, I go, how much is the rent? $800. Okay. It's in the hood. Okay. I deal with the hood. I don't know who else buys in the hood, but I buy in the hood. I like the hood. I'm all about the hood. I'm from the hood, whatever. So I roll over there. Tries to sell me this house for $50,000. It needs $15,000. Okay. Just to get it up to snuff. $65,000 to yield $800. I'm like, bro, I didn't even argue with the guy. I just said, all right, man, appreciate it. Thanks. Good luck. People don't even, you got to factor in, you can't be emotional. You got to factor in the ghetto-ness. People are going to move out. People are going to tear it up. If you're a wholesaler, factor in that the other guy, the investor, me, someone else is going to need to make a profit. You should make a profit. That's your job. But keep in mind, don't steal all the profit. Don't take all the profit. Don't be greedy. Think about other people and don't be emotional. A lot of investors lose deals because they're too emotional. If it makes sense, do it. If it doesn't make sense, don't do it. Sell it quick. Make the money. Move on. There's more deals out there. If you think there's no deals, scarce mentality will always crush you. Number 2, living beyond your means. Man, I'm seeing this everywhere. People just, have some success and then go out and get a new car. Why? There's no reason to. It corrupts you. It slows you down. Stay consistent in what your beliefs are and what you're trying to do. Don't step up to another house unless it makes sense. If it's a lateral move, if you buy a bigger house and the second house you're renting it out, when you move into a bigger house, more expenses come, the Joneses come, things come. Do not live beyond your means. I'm not saying that you shouldn't live in a $500,000 house. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about living large, but do it small little steps and make sure you have enough finances around it. Don't get your mind twisted that you are successful because you sold 5 houses and real fast and you got $50,000 in the bank and you can go out and roll around in a Mercedes. Doesn't make sense. Another thing I learned too, if you have to think about it, you can't afford it. Number 3, another reason why people fail is that they don't pay their taxes. Listen, I'm all about anti-taxes, period. This just burns me that you get pay taxes when you make money. Thank you, government. Then you turn around and spend money at the grocery store. Bam, you get paid taxes. Then you go home after the grocery store, you eat, you lay down, you pay taxes and property taxes. Bam. And then you're laying down and the next thing you know, you're dead and you pay taxes. Here's the deal. Be smart, learn taxes, and learn about all the deductions. If you don't own a business, you need to own a business. If you're a W-2 employee, learn about owning a business so you can have tax deductions, legitimate tax deductions. If you don't know about taxes, figure it out, study it, but try to understand the process behind it. And that's why you're in real estate is the highest, best use of your money against taxes. 4, failure of businesses, lack of planning. Dude, you gotta plan. There's so many statistics, for every minute planned is like 4 in return. Always think the end in mind. You got to have a plan. You got to have a goal. What's the agenda? Where we're going? Where's this going? So on and so forth. People spend more time planning their wedding than they do their life. My life, I'm planning out my weight loss. I'm planning out my podcast. Where am I going to be? How can I reach my goals? You got to plan. Plan on Sunday. Plan for the week. When you wake up, plan. Whatever you do, plan. If you don't plan, you're following someone else's plan. And that other person's plan is not your plan. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to fail. So that's the goal. Failure is not what we're going to talk about. Our goal is to be successful in whatever you do. And the only way you can do it is plan. You got it? So plan. Number 5. Now this can apply to real estate. This whole podcast applies to everything. Number 5, no knowledge, zero knowledge of financing. Listen, you've got to understand what a P&L sheet is. You got to understand how to communicate to your CPA. You got to understand what accounting is. You got to understand financing. You got to understand accounting. This has probably been my struggle where I've dodged the majority of my life. For some weird awkward reason, accounting is not my strong point. I'm not a big fan of details. I'm a big fan of business. I'm a big fan of how do things work. I like to analyze things. I like to figure things out. I like to make money. I like to do all these things. But I realized you've got to understand financing. How do banks make money? How do they loan money? Where does it go? How does it work? What's a passive investor? What are these things? If you don't understand accounting, don't worry. You're in the club. This is how you get locked down on accounting. Spend 10 minutes a day on it. Go to lynda.com, lynda.com for $25 a month or $250 a year. You thrifty folks out there like me, you can find a coupon for $50 off on lynda.com. They have really good, simplistic accounting courses on there. They're legit. I went through them. It has given me perspective of understanding, and you need to do the same. You got to understand what a P&L is. You got to understand how businesses make money, how things flow. One reason we just talked about a little bit earlier about your taxes. If you understand that you could take deductions at a certain time, or you can understand this thing called depreciation, your life will be grand. You will make even more money. The lack of finance knowledge that you have is the lack of money you're ever going to make. If you really want to be a millionaire, you really want to live large, you've got to understand financing. You got to understand how CPAs work. And if my trick, how did I do this? Well, I was fortunate enough to have a relationship, to have mentors that were in finance, that were in banking. And they spent a lot of time, and I just asked the craziest questions. And honestly, I don't even know if they were disrespectful or nice or whatever, but I really was tired of being illiterate towards financing. And I had this weird deal that, white collar people were better, or lawyers were better, or hedge fund managers were better. And I really was just insecure or inadequate about it. And I wanted to know more about it, but I was insecure because I didn't even know where to begin. Now, you can Google crap up, you can go to YouTube, but find a financing mentor. Find someone that has done what you've done before. Van Kallenberg, how do you finance deals? I love finance. Now, young child, let me teach you how to finance real estate with no money. Is it possible? Yes. Anyone that says it's not, they're a liar. Trust me. I do it all day, every day. I buy real estate with no money because I've figured out financing. 6, weak record keeping. First of all, it's an opportunity for theft. The bigger you become, the more anal detailed you need to be. You need to understand charts of accounts of charts, or whatever it is in QuickBooks. I don't even know how to operate QuickBooks. And hopefully I'll go to my grave not knowing how to operate QuickBooks. I pay people to operate QuickBooks, but I do understand how record keeping is so critical in your life. Where businesses fail, they throw receipts in a box and they pray and hope that crap goes well. Dumb. Use shoebox.com, use a scanner. Evernote has a super duper scanner. They scans everything, puts it in the cloud. If anything, hire a part-time person, $10 an hour, a VA, to organize them, to spreadsheet them. So you can look at the, pain or pleasure. So you can get the deductions that you need and you are deserved. Record keeping will bury you. You will get in an audit and you'll get hammered. And I don't know if you've heard me before, but I've said this a million times. I hate repeating myself, so I'm going to say it now. One time I was dealing with my accountant and they could not find a $16,000 transaction. Well, this girl, she doesn't pay my rent. She doesn't live at my crib. She doesn't know my kids. And guess what? She just opted out as a capital improvement. Well, when she opted that, because that's her job, she's conservative. And guess who suffers for that? I do. I would have paid $16,000, taxes of $16,000 earned income credit, or not in credit, earned income, because I did not have proper record keeping. I would have lost, $1,000. What's 40% of that? Do the math. Spend time on record keeping. Number 7, expanding too fast. I Googled this up, failures of businesses, and this is where I got this information, and this is kind of where I got this order. And I'm like, how can I apply this to real estate? Well, I realized for myself that you can be over expanding too fast and get out of control. you can borrow too much money from one place and then not pay it back in another place or lose track. And I'm going to talk about number 8. But if you start doing 7 rehabs at one time, yes, I have done that. And not only that, it gave me diarrhea and it crushed me internally. It was just I was expanding too fast. And I realized, I had an epiphany today. Maybe it was today. I was talking to my wife. I was like, look, I don't know what I'm trying to prove to myself, starting new businesses, expanding new businesses. What you need to do is just focus on what you're doing and dominate it to it's such a system that you can pass it on to somebody else. So if you're a rehabber and you want to go to 10 rehabs at one time because it sounds sexy, that may not be the case. I've seen my friend who was building 14 houses at one time. What the and it was remarkable. And I was like, wow, man, I got to go see this deal. And I sure did. I drove all the way up there and I saw it from the dirt all the way to the finished product. I was like, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for myself and for my boy. But I can't imagine the drama, the domino effect that when the heartache that I heard from him were this thing called, he was having problems when people were moving in and they had to do repairs. I can't remember what he said, what it's called, but things were breaking. Things weren't getting done. It was he expanded too fast and he was getting so much blowback. So just monitor it, expand, push yourself. I'm all about it. But sometimes businesses fail because they're expanding too fast. Number 8, inadequate, ineffective borrowing practices. Woo! When you study a lot about real estate and you study a lot about finance, and the golden ticket is what? Lines of credit. Everybody wants lines of credit. It's fascinating that we deal with different types. Every bank's different. Some banks love lines of credit. Some banks are anti-lines of credit. Line of credit works like this, right? You borrow money and then you pay it back. That's a line of credit. You borrow money, you buy a house, very inexpensive closing. But what gets people in trouble, it's a loaded gun, and you got to have a system. And I know from my own experience, a thing called robbing Peter to pay Paul. Oh, it happens, and it happens very quickly. You have to have a system, and you got to be consistent of the system. And I remember I bought a smoking deal, and I still have this deal, and I haven't even seen these tenants in almost 7 years. And this real estate investor called me up in a panic. I got to sell this house because I got to pay my line of credit. He didn't plan, he didn't prepare, and I gobbled up that deal, and it's been a horse for me, and it probably would have been a legacy property for him because he was over leveraged. There's nothing wrong with being leveraged. What's the term of over leveraged of what you can handle? $3 million in debt can seem over leveraged to some people. $1 million in debt. How do you handle it? Your character, who you are, but you have to have a plan. You have to have a system to handle it. Inadequate, ineffective borrowing practices will bury you. Know how to borrow money, but you got to learn finance first. Remember? All right. Number 9, non and wasted advertising budget. Listen, I just went to a seminar just the other day. Mitch Stevens at the local RIA. He's a pretty good guy. He has 1,000 houses, all owner finance, where he does lease purchases to people. Pretty sharp guy. Like this stuff to a certain degree. But one message I did get out of the guy, he puts a discipline in every purchase of every property that he puts $2,000 back into marketing. Man, that's exactly how I built my DJ company. That's exactly how I built my business today. Severe discipline about marketing and not wasting money on your advertising. If it's working, be consistent with it. Don't try to do direct marketing or bandit signs for one day and then switch to something else the next day. Be consistent. Success is built on consistency. You want to lose weight? Come up with a plan and be consistent with it. You want to be a millionaire? Come up with a plan and be successful with it. You got to have goals. How many houses are going to reach your goal? You got to do it. So do it. If you're going to have an advertising budget, stick with it. 10 and the final, pretty powerful and important. You're doing your business for the wrong reasons. I know that's just cliche. Well, we're all in business to make money. Yeah, that's what the government thinks. That's what society thinks. A lot of people, they're hobbyists, right? They're in business because, hey, I own a business. I see a lot of those in the wedding business when I was selling booths to bridal show people, bridal vendors, photographers. They don't even realize what a P&L is. They don't even realize what they're doing. They're just, I'm in business. And they're just chasing their tail. They're working way harder than before when they worked a day job with no benefits and no life, and they think they own a business. But the problem is they're in it for the wrong reasons. If you're in it because you love to be a photographer, full power to you. You should. Take the pay cut. Live your life. But the deal is, what's your why? You've got to have a strong enough why. If you don't have a strong enough why, when all the hell breaks loose, when it will, you will have something that will push you through. Your why. And what is your why? You've got to define your why. What is the reason why I want to be rich? I want to drive a Range Rover. Okay, those are all surface, because when you get that Range Rover, you're going to be depressed. I know this. When I set my goal for 100 units, I was like, oh, I got to 100 units. My wife, I love my wife, and this is our philosophy at our home. Never forget where you come from. And I specifically remind myself, and my wife reminded me the other day, remember, Stephen, when your goal was just 20 houses, when your goal was just 10 houses. And I remember my goal was just 10. Then my goal went to 25 houses, and then it went to 50. And I'm like, yeah, when I get to 50, my life is going to be the best. I'm going to be a millionaire and everything's going to be grand. Dude, when I got to 50, I was paying way more than I was before. Life was way more complicated. And then I was like, got this hair, and I was like, man, I'm going to get to 100. I'm going to be dominating. Now everybody gets to 100. And it's just like, it never ends. What's the goal? What's your why? Why are you doing it? And it changes. It's a missing target. So, but the thing is, you've got it. What's your why? Is it ministry? Is it to give back? Is it to bless your family? Is it to be a legacy? What is it? It's got to be strong enough to pull you through that you can wake up. Freedom. Freedom from what? What are you running from? What's your why? Anyway, I know this is weird and deep and all over the place, and my nose, and I burped a few times. I hopefully inspired you in some way or fortune. I hope that you would run your business efficiently so you can do more and be the person that you tend or want to be. You can start over. You can recreate yourself. You can be the very best. Money only magnifies who you are. What are you going to magnify?
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook, and always be buying assets.